What is up, party people? It's Dan Hopper, your basement guitar superstar. Today I have another surprise for you guys, or I shouldn't say surprise, I should say special treat, because it's awesome. Today we're taking a look at the Siren Pedals Anvil compressor. Let's look at that artwork. Isn't that amazing? So the unique thing about these is they have this little three-way selector switch on here, and that does different things. Let me look on here. So what that does, adjusts the overall treble response. So center is stock, up is a soft treble response, and bottom is a hard treble response. So we will play around with those and give you an idea what those sound like. The other cool thing with Siren Pedal stuff is they have these little suggested settings on their little product manual that those come with. And we are going to show you each one of these and kind of highlight how those work. I'm going to be pairing this with a Siren Pedals Aravata distortion to give you an idea of how those two pedals work together and what all you can do with the compression. For those of you that don't know what a compressor pedal does, essentially it takes all of the very loud notes and all the very soft notes and compresses them down, so it brings up those low tones that you can't hear very well, and it brings down those crushing high tones, just so you get more of a mid-rangey sound. I think it's really cool. I love the concept. I know some guitarists don't like it, but so the story with Siren Pedals, they are based out of Nashville. I think they just started this year, maybe tail end of last year. They have put out some wonderful pedals so far. I own this one, the Aravata Distortion, which I just talked about, and then they also have a really awesome fuzz called the Midnight Train, which I'll do a video of at some point. And they have several pedals coming down the pipe as well. So we're going to preview those. I'm going to go through the settings, and then we'll come back and talk about it. I'm going to be playing through a Trainer YCV40 valve amp, which is my favorite amp and one of the best sounding amps of all time in my humble opinion. Obviously, I'm a nobody, so nobody cares, but that's okay. I'm also going to be playing a 2020 Epiphone Les Paul Classic in Worn Purple with dual humbuckers, and so we should get a nice, full, rich sound out of that. If you find this video valuable, please like and subscribe. It really helps me grow and helps get me in front of people to continue to grow. And I have some awesome content coming up for you guys that I think you'll really enjoy. So without further ado, let's go down to the floor and see how this sounds. All right, party people, we are down on the floor here looking at the Anvil. Notice I have the Aravata distortion right next to it as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at this card. The first setting is called Siren Starting Point. You'll notice top left there, everything at noon, and the treble selector in the middle. So we're going to start getting some clean tones from the amp here. Alright, so you get an idea what that sounds like. Let's see what it does with its distortion. We have the Aravata slightly past noon with all the settings. The filter and the shape are turned a little bit further than that. So let's see what those sound like. Alright, now let's see what they sound like with the Anvil. Yeah, that is just gorgeous. I don't know if you noticed, but it definitely brought those lower and mid tones up. So that's the first setting. The second setting is called Classic Comp. So let's go ahead. We'll flip the treble volume down to the bottom position there, and then we will put the release to about 4 or 5 o'clock. The according to the thing here, maybe go just a bit further than that. So we'll go back to doing the clean tones here. Alright, now let's try the Aravata by itself here, and then we'll boost that on the same setting. Notice how much fuller it got when we turn the compressor on. So now let's go to setting number 3. That is called Birdman. I'm assuming, and I know Scott is going to watch this video. He's the owner of the company. Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that's similar to Yardbirds, since bird is spelled like Yardbirds. So we want to turn the sustain all the way this way. We want to turn the release all the way back to almost 0 and put the treble in the middle there. So let's try this on clean channel here. Now with the Anvil. Yeah, that definitely sustains a lot more. Okay, let's try it with the Aravata first here. Okay, now with that turned on, obviously the circuit gets a little bit noisy, but part of that is I have a one of those one spot adapters. I don't have each of these plugged in individually. Alright, so let's go to setting 4 here. This is called Sweet Tubes. So we leave the sustain where it's at, put the treble switch down, and put the release back at noon. So it looks like this, bottom left there. If you can see that, I'm sorry my hand's not very steady. So let's try that on clean here. let's try the Aravata by itself. So yeah, that setting's pretty rad as well. Let's move on to the next one. Here, this is called Studio Grade Comp. So what we want to do is move the sustain, or the release, down to about there. Put the sustain back at noon. Notice they have the arrows on here too. I don't know if you guys can see that, but on the top there they have little arrows pointing to where noon should be. That's super helpful. Glad they did that. And then the last thing, and this is the bottom middle there for Studio Grade Comp again, is we need to boost the treble switch up. Like that. So let's get some clean tones again here. Alright. Let's try that with the Aravata. And then boost that with the compressor. Alright guys, so one last setting here that we're going to show you. It's called Too Much. That sounds really exciting actually. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty stoked. So what we do for that is we leave the release where it's at and turn the sustain to about the same level, and then we'll get some clean tones going here. That sounds cool. Now let's try it with the Aravata. Alright guys, so that is the Aravata in the nutshell. We have gone through all of these settings. Again, remember, here's what the treble knob does. That's this little guy right here. That adjusts the overall treble response. Center is stock, so how it comes up is soft treble response, and bottom is hard treble response. So that treble really, really shoots to the top when you have it on the bottom there. So anyway, guys, we will go back up to the table there, and I'll let you know what my final thoughts are. Well, thank you so much for joining me. That was an overview of the Siren Pedals Anvil compressor. I hope you guys enjoyed that if you're watching this video. I will post a link in the description to Siren Pedals' website. It's just sirenpedals.com. I will also post a link to some of the other videos that have been done about this. I believe Harry and the Guitar did one, and I think there might be one or two others. I will go ahead and post links to those in the description below, as well as a link directly to the page where you can buy this. Now let's talk through logistically what my final thoughts are. You guys know I grade pedals based on a couple of different things: playability, affordability, how does it sound with other pedals, how does it sound in general, does it function the way it's supposed to, etc., etc. So as far as affordability goes, this pedal is listed right at $200. I would consider Siren Pedals a boutique pedal company. They're For $200 though, this is a great circuit. It's obviously not going to be for everybody, just because some people can't afford to spend $200 on a compressor. I just happened to get this on Labor Day sale, and I want to say it was around 30% off. I bought this and the Aravata both on the same day. As far as playability goes, this is excellent. I think you guys heard, based on the actual play portion of the video, that this sounds really, really good no matter what setting you put it on. It does a really great job of boosting those notes that wouldn't be very loud otherwise. It does a great job of kind of bringing down that top end. At least in my opinion, it does. As far as pairing with other pedals, you guys heard it with the Aravata. Now granted, they're the same company, but I could tell you this pedal pairs well with literally everything on my pedal board. I can't say that about everything. There are certain pedals that don't pair very well with stuff. This is not one of them. This pairs good with everything. Again, I was getting a lot of noise because here at my office where I film these, I have just a one-spot adapter that's daisy trained. It's a lot quieter if you have just a direct power supply you're going into, which is what I have at my house. I just can't film there. As far as playability goes, I think any gigging musician or any hobbyist that doesn't mind spending money on boutique pedals is going to enjoy this a lot. I think Scott and the guys over at Siren Pedals have done a phenomenal job making these circuits, and you guys will see from the reviews I do from the other pedals and their line that they really know what they're doing, and they've added some unique features like this little treble boost switch here. I think is a fantastic idea. I haven't seen that on very much before, other than like a Russian Big Muff or Big Muff Pie or whatever. So final verdict on this, based on, I've played a lot of compressors. This is the first one I've actually bought, though. I liked it that much that I was willing to splurge and pay $160 for it. I love this pedal. I would give this probably a 9.2 out of 10. There's really not a whole heck of a lot that you could say negative about this. Maybe the only other thing is it might get tied up a little bit on your pedal board because the input-output and the 9-volt jack are in the back here. That might be a turnoff for some people. But other than that, I mean, the artwork on it's beautiful. The knobs function great. It looks aesthetically pleasing. The LED is very, very bright, especially when you're playing it in the dark. And it comes with a lot of cool things, and the customer service at Siren Pedals has been great to deal with so far. I know we had a little snafu with shipping where one of the pedals kind of got lost in transition, and the owner was really great about getting that back to me. So I gave a few extra points for that, just because I feel like he went out of his way to provide great customer service. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me again. This is Siren Pedals Anvil Compressor. This is a great pedal. If you think this might be for you, please go to their website and order one. And yeah, we'll see you next time.